Are you going to sit down before I do? No, my mother said I'm not allowed to sit before a woman does. The head of the opposition, Yair Lapid, welcome. Good morning. You are now returning from the Knesset, but we should say, for the benefit of those who went to sleep early, last night was very intense in the Knesset, almost a white night. During half a night, the Haredi withdrew from the government because the question of draft of conscription came to some boiling point. How surprised are you with what we woke up to this morning? I want to say something about yesterday in the Knesset. We knew about the 3 deceased soldiers pretty early on in the Knesset. So the whole Knesset was dealing, and you couldn't write about it or broadcast it, but we all dealt with this craziness of knowing that 3 soldiers from 401 were killed in Gaza, in Jabalia. And at the same time, the government of Israel is dealing with trying to help tens of thousands of healthy young men dodge from draft. Knesset could sometimes be cynical, but yesterday it held all of us from the guts, and there also was a suicide case of a soldier, which we all knew about it, and since the beginning of 2025, we've seen 15 suicide cases in the army. I don't know if you know that, and it really was a performance that was unforgivable of cynicism, but I still do want to ask you if they would have told the young people that we could have also have enlistment law or more stable government, but we still see them not bringing a law, and the Haredi are withdrawing, are bolting angrily. But maybe Netanyahu, well, I think he wasn't able to pass the law. He tried. There are quite a lot of people in the Israeli Knesset, even within the coalition, who have children who serve in Gaza and children who serve in Lebanon, and they are Zionistic and patriotic, and they care, and the reservist organizations talk to them, and they care about them. And within the Zionism, the Orthodox Zionism, not the party, but rather the population, it's a population that was absolutely battered during this war in a very high percentage. There's a very authentic rage in almost every topic, and I'm not against it, okay? We can always translate to politic, but here, with the political language stops at the entry to the cemetery. So he was not able to pass it, which is why he didn't bring it. No other reason. I think that Yuli Edelstein himself as well, it's hard to scare Yuli, right? The Soviet regime tried at the time. And you trust him to follow this all the way? I don't know. I wasn't authorized to speak on his behalf, but he did what he thought was the right thing to do. And we were also upset with him before the Iran operation. Like him, I knew about the fact that it's about to take place. And like him, I thought it shouldn't allow even one step towards allowing dodging the draft. And I congratulate everyone saying to themselves, it's impossible that it will be only political reasoning and that the state would send its sons to the battle while exempting others only because they have a political party saying, I'm able to exempt them. But I want to say that as a prime minister and someone who also assembled the previous government, the government of yourself and Mr. Bennett, you understand the limitations and the fact that we can't do it in one cut and list them all of them in blanket draft. And what has changed? So what has changed? Everything. This is not an accurate description, but I'm not going to argue. October 7th happened. We are in the midst of the longest war in the history of Israel. Our children, every day, we see about more soldiers killed, and every time when I see the smile on the faces of these young men who were killed because they were photographed smiling, right? And these young men of 18 years old write their wills, last wills and testimony, and we can't behave as if this didn't happen. It has happened, and now they need to draft. So you want all the Haredi men in the army? Yes. So all of these people who are Torah learners, you're right, we should talk about quotes, right? Not about objectives. It's always hard. We need to say how many Torah students are there, the same way that we have the excellent people in sports who are not enlisted or partially enlisted, and all of those who do not enlist will not see even one shekel from the state of Israel because there's a limit to this thing. I also want to ask you more generally, in the context of the war and everything happening in Gaza, your friend of the opposition, Victor Lieberman, is saying that soldiers are killed in vain for politics. Do you agree with this? I don't like what he says. It's not about agreeing or not. These soldiers have parents, they have partners, spouses. They are in Gaza. They are this is a statement that is just giving you a kick to the guts. I don't think it's the right thing to say during war. It's hard to ignore the fact that you ask yourself difficult questions. What are the reasonings? But there are things that, I don't know, as leadership, I choose not to say. I don't tell Avigdor Lieberman what he should or shouldn't say. And even if I had tried, he wouldn't listen to me. Let's talk about the possibility of an agreement, which is now on the table. Do you think that Netanyahu's ability to navigate is limited? I mean, you could assist him. I think that it's two yeses here. This is the one thing that for which I'm willing to agree. For a hostage deal, I'm willing to go to get to in the room with Netanyahu and sign on to save him from everything he's going through these days. I think this is a terrible government for the people of Israel, for Israel's economy. We never even get to that part, for Israel's security, for our foreign affairs, for everything. But the hostage deal is the one and only thing I'm willing to close with him, in not allow him to be battered. So even give him more 6, 7, 8 months more of governing, as long as he asks. If you will, I'm not going to negotiate with you now. I just want to understand, would you agree? What is the maneuver space in your hand, in your eyes? Because if he wants to go to do a hostage deal, he needs a longer term of office. Well, how much I'm willing to give him is something that I will close vis-a-vis him in a closed room, not with you. But one day we will all look back, not only what it did to us as a society, but also what it did to each one of us as a person. And the idea is that people are being suffocated in the tunnels one after the other. And my sister is a psychology professor. She works with the families of the hostages, and she talks about it a lot. And she says to me, it's not only the families. There's no Israeli civilian who's not being, dismantled and corrosed from within. Our souls are falling apart. We need to bring them home. There's nothing more important in my eyes for Israeli society. So let's just say, okay, give me an election date and I'll go with you for the hostage deal. Okay, you spoke yesterday at your faction meeting about the humanitarian city. You were quite against that. You said you wonder about, and I will ask you what you meant when you wondered, will they have an electric fence? What do you imagine it's going to look like? Let's not imagine. The IDF says, we don't even know what they want us to do. And I'm saying it very politely because they speak to the politicians, to the statesmen. What they call the humanitarian city, 600,000 people. We are now in Tel Aviv, my city, not far from the neighborhood where I grew up. It's almost double from Tel Aviv. This city that you want to build, it is double from Tel Aviv. How many years do you want it? 10, 20 years? How long it's going to last? Secondly, are people allowed in and out? And if they're not allowed out, is there going to be a fence? Is it going to be an electric fence or not? Is the IDF supposed to protect this fence for the upcoming years? Who is going to give them education, electricity, water? Who's going to build hospitals and schools? I don't know if people understand that all of this is planned on expense of our tax money. They spoke about 15 to 20 billion shekels, which is to me a very careful estimation. Just to give you some proportion, with this amount of money, you can lower the VAT tomorrow by 2% or add 2,000 more shekels to the salary of every teacher in Israel. But there are politicians who hinted yesterday, maybe also you, about the electric fence, that someone is trying to start up some concentration camp here. I am not willing to accept these two words in the context of Israel or the IDF. My grandfather perished in a concentration camp. My father grew up in the ghetto. So this is not a concentration camp or ghetto. So why say electric fence? Because you ask yourself, if you want to maintain 600,000 people in a given area that you've decided, are you going to stop them from leaving it? And if not, how will you start this city? So you're saying it's a bad idea? It's a delusional idea. It's impossible to apply. I'm not even talking about the damages in the world. It's another way that they have to prolong a war that should have stopped a long time ago. when they start talking about hostages, we said that the price we'll pay for bringing them back would be stopping the war. Today, stopping the war is a clear Israeli interest. This war is not going anywhere. This war is not helping Israel. And this war is not disseminating Hamas. We need to rearrange, to rethink about how we eliminate Hamas. I absolutely see eliminating Hamas as an Israeli goal, a national goal. But to me, this war is not doing that. So in light of everything happening politically, do you think that we are about to see elections? It already happened to me that I said I give some date and then I was haunted about it so much. So I'm leaving the commentary for you. You're talking about that famous case with a note. So let's just stop with the jokes about that, okay? Basically, let's not talk about date for election. This government does not function, hasn't done that for months. You're a political commentator and you follow it. They're not able to pass any resolution, which is a good thing because those resolutions they're trying to pass are very bad. But for months and months, a government that's not able to legislate or pass any resolutions or any processes. I mean, this very morning they were supposed to authorize the most basic thing, which is the compensation for people who were damaged in the war with Iran. But the committee didn't sit down. But the cabinet is sitting down, right? The IDF is still working. Netanyahu is still leading. If you ask any civilian who went to the supermarket during the past 6 months if they think that the state is working for their benefit, and ask people who have been doing hundreds of days of reserves if the country is working for their benefit, ask anyone who tried to fly abroad or come back. So what's your answer? It's election? My answer is that usually we come to see elections when we don't see the Knesset and government operating, and they have stopped operating. Do you feel that you failed in bringing them closer to election after all of this? I bang my head to the wall once a day, whether I need to or not. Obviously, when I look at them and I said the most terrible government in the history of Israel did not fall, and I'm heading the opposition, I do tell myself I wish I could have thought of something else to do. But basically, so you're saying I failed as head of the opposition? Yes, quite a lot. And I wake up in the morning and I go on, keep working. Every person reacts differently to failures. It's something about our mental stability, but structure. But I say I'll try even harder until I make it work. And it seems that we are going closer to that. We still have part in the fact that the draft dodging law didn't pass. It's not by chance. If the opposition didn't work, it would have passed a long time ago. So let me tell you that we just need to try again and again until we make it. It's not simple. They were, until last night, that is, they were 67 in the coalitions and we were 52 in the opposition. The difference is quite great. It's hard to topple down a government. One of the main questions for election is how will your parties, coalition supporters would work out and organize themselves. You probably learned from the past. Is there any chance you give Gadi Eisenkot the leadership? You're asking me two different questions. I'll answer the one I feel comfortable answering. You can directly answer about Gadi Eisenkot. First of all, I sit with him. I do hope we'll have some agreements. We're friends. We agree about many things about how this state should hold on, organize itself. And I have proven more than once that I do what I need to do for the best of this country. My ego is set aside. But there's a technical question here to be answered. First, it's not completely accurate to say it's always failing, because I was able to create with 8 different parties one government. But something happened during the past elections. Yes, it needs to be better organized. I will be happy if the next government will have more mandates and less parties. Will you give Gadi Eisenkot the leadership if you feel it's the right thing to do? I already said I will do what is good for the best of Israel. I mean, it's always this ceremony where I say I'll do what's good for Israel. And so what you're saying means this and that. You always ask me. So what I'm saying is this is not something that I will negotiate about in front of cameras on a stage. At the end of the day, there aren't many people who can tell themselves, I created a government in Israel. During the past 20 years, there are only 2 people who can say that, Netanyahu and myself. I was able to create a government that was very complex. The bloc was very complex. And I think that according to all of the surveys, that after the next election, it will be more simple to create a government. It has to do with political skillfulness. And I'm not being humble, but I'm saying that I have that. And I will be able to create a government in Israel, and we need to do that. Okay, we need to finish now. Who's supposed to stand first according to your politeness? According to my mother, I need to stand up, then move your chair back in order to allow you to stand up. The head of the opposition, Yair Lapid, thank you very much. Thank you very much, the head of the opposition, Yair Lapid. Moran Azulai, thank you both.